with us right here. I'm still having my good team here. They're helping me to discuss or dissect issues here of political importance. Of course, that actually cuts across not only to students, but also to people outside there. Now, we just have a few minutes to the end of this program, and let's get into another segment of this topic today, which is post-election trauma and how to deal with it. Now, we've been talking about post-election and anything to do with the trauma. But now, at this particular moment, we want to get strategies that are going to help the listeners outside there who are also willing, or even ourselves here, because politics, and somebody told me earlier on that if you're a Ugandan or a countryman and you're not involving yourself in the activities of the nation politically, then you don't know what you want. So never know, tomorrow here, each of us, the districts will be definitely in position to help us, or maybe in need of our services as far as politics or leadership is concerned. So I really look at great men and women right here who are willing to be in position to help their districts as far as politics is concerned. Now let me go straight to Honorable Wallace. Like we are looking at the strategies or mechanisms. What mechanisms would you employ as an individual or give to the listener outside there on how to overcome the trauma that comes with a post-election kind of a situation?
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. To be honest, personally, I think the greatest of all the strategies that we need to overcome post-election trauma is anticipate trouble. Muganda man says,
you should be expecting.
Exactly. Muganda man says, Chijomanyi, Chinyaga bitono. Echiddukanye tekikola ki? Tekitwala byenda. That's something that comes when you are aware of it. It causes minimal damage. You understand? When you get diarrhea, when you are aware, when you anticipate it, your intestines remain. You understand? That's literally the literal meaning of the proverb I just said. So the best of all strategies is for you to go into this politics when you are aware that this is actually a possibility. You understand? What hurts most, what breaks people's hearts is because they go into these elections thinking it's either win or a win. And that's not the right way to go into this. You need to understand that, yes, I'm going to do whatever I can, but if things don't go my way, well and good. Okay. Life continues. You understand? Life continues. Because actually, I want to associate with the saying that the best of all schools in this life is exposure. The best of all schools in this life is exposure. You go to that's why one of the reasons why we grade schools is because the kind of exposure you get from a different school is different from the exposure you get from another school. I go to Seta High. I'm exposed to, ministers' kids. I'm exposed to cool kids, rich kids. Then someone goes somewhere else, the school I want to mention, and they're exposed to a different category. So the kind of exposure is different. Now, I want us to appreciate that by mere participating in politics, regardless of the outcome, the exposure you get during that process is way, way much important than the result that you get.
Yes.
You understand? When you participate in an election, the lessons you get, the exposure you get, the friends you meet during that process, man, nothing can compare to that.
But there's this one person who actually gets into politics, but he's not a friend.
And he's not a friend?
Yes. What I mean is, he's poor at making friends, just that because I have to do politics. At the end of it all, even if he or she has gotten contacts, doesn't know how to make the best use of these contacts.
But politics and leadership, if I might say, it's about serving people. So if you're not ready to mingle and relate with these people, then what are you doing in politics? You should come into politics when you're ready to associate with fellows, make them your friends, listen to their problems, represent them everywhere you go. So it's really about being social. And if you're an antisocial person, I
be
don't
there.
think politics
So
is
in
for
actual
you.
sense, you're telling someone like, if you are not social, please do not find yourself anywhere. Don't come close to
You
politics.
got to be your technique, those IT bots. Those people are always on their computers.
I love the way Jacqueline looks at you when
Hey,
you said.
I don't know. There are other professionals for that character.
Yeah.
Because I understand we all can't be the same.
I assure that is
There's
true.
definitely going to be variation in human beings, and that's nature.
Mm.
So you need to find what suits your character, what suits your person. If you're not this person who is all over, who is everywhere, who is going to say hello to everyone,
Then you find your way out.
then this might not be your field to
Okay,
participate in.
that's very interesting. I love that. Of course, that simply means if those people whom they just force into doing politics, please find your way.
Yes, so precisely to put it, I want us to change our mindset that we should go into politics, into this arena of politics, to look for exposure. And for me to get the exposure, much as I get more exposure when I win, but even during the process, I get enough exposure. I meet very many people. So let's attach value to that.
Okay.
Number 2,
Yes.
another strategy is find gratitude. Practice being grateful. Imagine you lose with a margin of 10. Do you actually have respect for those who believed in you? Like, for example, you got 300, I got 290. I mean, before I go into my bed, get depressed, feel so extremely bad, have I actually thought about that?
The people who
There are
sacrificed,
290 people
who actually
saw
followed you.
hope in me,
I know.
who actually believed in my idea. That should be enough for me to be like, to console me, to be like, actually, maybe it wasn't just my turn. Maybe there's this thing that lacked a bit, but I was actually good to go. And if you find gratitude in that, if you appreciate that there was a good number following that was ready and backed your idea and your agenda, it will give you some kind of relief, and it will help you cope up with the post-election trauma.
Wow.
Yes.
That is very interesting. And I really have a feeling that people are said picking one or two things from this kind of engaging discussion that we have right here in Infinity Radio. Now, let me get to Jacqueline. You're looking at the politics here in Makerere, and we realize that we are the victims of this trauma, this stress, and so on. You look at Makerere, you realize somebody has gotten stress, political problems, has failed, what and stuff. Then also home there are also other issues. That's why somebody is having issues. Like, what are these supporting measures that, do you think that are there some supportive measures that the universe has put in place to make sure that these kind of cases are addressed? Maybe like you can tell somebody like, oh, why this and this seems to be not good. Let's go to such and such a place and find this kind of help.
Okay, thank you so much. So, a role played by the university, which should really be a critical role, because, well, they are the institution. We are just actors in this institution. There are counseling and guidance services. I don't know if our dear listeners know where the counseling center is. However, it should really be important that such services are available, and they are. But the problem is information surrounding the available counseling services. But I think by the time we go for counseling and guidance, I think that is at a later stage. But the preparation for the individuals, that is actually to supplement on Honorable Wallace's point. The individuals, they themselves should be prepared prior. For example, there should be a university policy. There is none. That as contestants are aspiring for all these positions, there should be at least a mandatory training where they offer counseling and guidance to every aspirant. Like a one-off time training, that while you're going into this politics, my dear, expect all this and that. Expect that there is going to be playing dirty. There is going to be all this and this kind of demands, especially on the females. There is always that gender aspect thing. Expect that, A, B, C, D, and F can go wrong. Expect that your finances can be, dwindled all at once, or expect all these kind of things. If there is that kind of training prior, before even we get into the election itself, for all the aspirants, just immediately after the nominations are released, then the university will be playing a critical role. So when things go wrong and, the aspirants already are aware, oh, they're actually counseling services, there is actually ABC that I can do, then, well, we are good to go. But also, it's not only, actually, in terms of also the university, another critical role that they have played. Yes, we have the rules and regulations governing the electoral process, political parties are banned, all these kinds of behavior is banned. Unfortunately, the policies are on paper. But in reality, we have all kinds of bullying. We have all kinds of cyber harassment. We have all kinds of threats that happen during the electoral process. People approach you, if you don't leave this election, man, ABCD and F will happen to you.
By the way, like before you go, sorry for
Yes,
interjecting you. I had a friend who actually had beatings. I think that was in 2022-23 elections. And I wouldn't mention his name, but he showed interest in politics, that kind of thing, and at the end of it, after getting some few threats from opponents, he was actually beaten, and that kind of thing scared him. Actually, you get a point. It scared him out of politics up to now. It never does.
The things are still happening. You find that, your banners, you put your banner and, my God, it disappears. Well, someone must have taken it, and definitely a person is not from your team, So all these kind of things, yes, the policies are there against, all electoral malpractices, but they are still happening. So the university, yes, the policy is there, but then it is weak. If only it could be, more effectualized, then we would be good to go. But not only the university that can play a critical role, even the students say themselves, yes, it is a game, but we, the participants, the actors, the players, we make it a dirty game. If the students are like, okay, let's play clean. Of course, some few malls will decide to play dirty, but if you're like, since we are a replica of the national politics and we want a cleaner national politics, then we have to start
right here
right here at campus politics. And if individuals, well, it starts with me, it starts with my neighbor, it starts with everyone in this room, you decide to make it clean politics, then we are going to have a clean and fair play.
Wow.
Thank you
So much, Honorable Jacqueline, for that submission. I really feel it, and I love the fact that people here seem to have very great information as far as this topic of discussion is concerned, and I'm really very grateful for that. Let me come to my honorable here, right on my right. On my left here, we are looking at the perspectives or strategy that we can employ to make sure that people don't get into this kind of a situation. So what are these? How would you divide, like what channels, how could someone channel the energy, or instead of thinking on different perspectives, or maybe having things that are disturbing him or her pertaining this very point of discussion, that is politics, and maybe you've lost and stuff, how would you advise someone to channel that energy into something positive or productive?
Okay, thank you very much. First of all, after a loss, automatically, because we are human beings, there is grief. But allow me inform listeners of Infinity Radio that that grief is normal. It is a way human beings express the kind of connection, the magnitude of connection they had with their ambition. The very way you grieve a loss of a beloved one, the very way you grieve a loss of a job, the very way you grieve a loss of a relationship is in the same lane with the grief you get because of a loss of an election. So it is okay not to be okay. We are human beings.
Wow, that
There
was
is
so
no
logical.
magic. There is no
It's
magic.
okay not to be okay.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I am still proceeding.
Okay.
Now, one mistake many people make is after a loss, they disconnect themselves from their support teams.
Okay.
For example, of course, you've been in an election, you have a team that you've been working with. After the loss, you, the head, you disconnect, you go into isolation. It is in isolation
But a lot happens.
that a lot happens. So, one of the ways colleagues can get freed from
Such a
drug
situation.
abuse and such kind of situations is keeping in touch with the team. Do not go into isolation. Thank you very much.
Okay, that is interesting. Pass the microphone to Honorable Fatuma. Honorable Fatuma, at the very beginning, Honorable Jacqueline brought in certain aspect that we're trying to avoid, and that is aspect of come and meet me in such and such a place. Then after that, at the end of it, some certain things she didn't mention have to happen. Before I ask you the other question, maybe I could first ask you, have you ever experienced such a situation?
Being honest,
Mhm.
yes.
And then those things happen. Sorry.
Nothing happened.
But you went through the situation.
Yes.
Now, this is what happens. Like, there's this one person who gets into that situation and falls a victim of circumstance. You have been eating, you've done that and stuff, and also lost. How would you advise such a person to come up out of that kind of trauma of double loss, and you don't know what has happened in the other things also? Then also in the other that in the very aspect, you find that what would you tell your fellow females who are also interested in politics come the 92nd,
I'll
as
go
in
with
line with the same situation?
in the same situation. In the first place, about this person that has run maybe for a certain position, lost the race, and in the other way, he had done certain things.
I know, right?
Maybe people have promised her, these boys are manipulative. And he very manipulative.
Which ones? Which
I don't
boys?
know, I don't know about these ones. I'm with here.
Yeah, about
but
these ones in the room. Do they look
Yeah.
like manipulative?
I don't
I love
think-
the way you're looking at them. Let's look at this man also right. Does he manipulate?
I don't think so, but
Okay.
yeah, we as girls, what we really need to do is to respect ourselves and to know what we really want. Because me, Honorable Waris can call me to his room and be like, you know what, Fatuma, I heard you're contesting, but
Come
I have
around.
strategies.
Good
I
to
can
know.
give you my team. I
They are good to love it.
Yes, I can give you my team. Like they work with you.
Well, let's
But
employ
on-
that.
On one
Employ that
condition.
strategy.
On one condition.
Let me put conditions straight away.
Yes.
Wow.
They put conditions, by the way. On one condition, may I want a wife.
They want a wife in you or in your team?
In me.
Oh.
Yes. So that's so they put condition is that they be on you, like they be like, you really need to win and you're going to win, so I want to help you.
So in one way of helping
And
you
not
is
one
also
person,
helping
not
me.
two, not two, not three. Many boys can approach you.
On the same situation, same
Yes,
issue.
Yes.
Wow.
Others might be wanting money, but most of them, they're always saying, me, I want you. Like,
I want a woman.
yes, I want a woman.
Eh.
But maybe after that scenario, maybe you, as a girl, you've fallen under that trap. I think it's always good, like, to accept, fine, you did a mistake, you were desperate in the first place, you did not value yourself. Because me as Fatuma, why would I give out myself? Because I want a position. There is life beyond politics, and I can do better without doing that.
So what advice would you give to somebody who is looking forward to coming into the very situation, and you know very well that at the end of it all, it has to happen. It has to happen, because if basing on having gotten that kind of example, it makes me feel like it has not started now and it is not stopping now. Meaning even those people who are going to come after us are definitely going to find it.
Yes.
What should they be prepared of, and how should they get rid of it in case?
The first point is they should avoid this aspect of me versus them. Because when we enter into politics, yes, you feel like me Fatuma, I'm a winner. I have to get it. Like that aspect of desperation. You should avoid it.
So it'd be like
because
with everything.
with everything, you're willing to do everything that
Wow.
it takes. So you should avoid that aspect. And another thing, like, should be careful with which kind of people you interact
Engaging
with. Yes, you meet. Don't hesitate to meet them. You can meet with them, but you should always be very, very careful. 'Cause
Anything can happen.
anything can
They're
happen
very lethal.
at any time. Yes,
Yeah,
so
no.
you have to be really very careful, like especially as a girl. If you're meeting a boy, maybe you can meet with, like, tell someone, or you go with
Go
someone.
with someone.
Yes, and maybe don't underlook their ideas. Listen to them. You give them time, but you as a girl, you have to put
Should
into
have
your head,
it.
yes, I shouldn't do this because of this.
All right, let me pose the same question to Honorable Jacqueline. Maybe I want you to add in some voice on what she has said, based on the same question and the situation. And it is about, of course, the issues of Mpanku way. Give me, I give you. I have this idea, I have these strategies, and so on. How would you advise some young girl who's having this interest in politics in Makerere here, but of course this kind of a situation is becoming kind of a chronic culture?
Okay.
That
Thank you so much. So, as I've said in the beginning, while you're joining politics, you should have your values intact. It is very important, especially as a lady, not only at university politics, but even out there in the world, to have your non-negotiables. And you're like, this one, no, we are not even discussing it. It is out of the way. There is no single way that I can give in this for that. That is very important, especially as you're going out there in the world, because advances will always be there. Bribes will always be there. Opportunities for give me this, I give you that will always and always and always be there.
yeah.
However, you as a person, what is your non-negotiable? So from the beginning, as a girl entering into a political space, you should know that, okay, I can do anything, I can do everything, but my body is out of the question. Yes, I can give you money, I'll skip lectures, I will move in the night, but my body Now, from the beginning, when you know that and you're aware and you've made up your mind, my dear, the rest, you won't even have issues with this. So in the process, because advances will always come, as I've said, you learn how to play around, how to play about. So Honorable Wallace calls you at...
Honorable Wale, let me know that you're not a victim of circumstance here, because it seems like... you need to clear the air.
Well, yes, never. Okay. Honorable who?
interesting.
Honorable Soul.
Honorable Soul, you're finished.
Honorable Bruce.
And Honorable Legend.
Okay, yes. Honorable Short Legend. Okay, Kale, some other different Honorable John somewhere. He calls you to his room and is like, come to my room at 9 p.m. I'll help you walk around.
Jangu tulabe.
Okay, you come and we discuss. So with time, when you've already made up your mind, there's a way you get the spirit of discernment. There's a way you become more, your mind opens to alternatives, to instead of giving in what they're asking for. So he calls you to his room at 9 p.m. You're like, you know what, this weekend I'm going home. I have taken, maybe the entire semester I've not seen my mom. I have to go home. It's really urgent. CDO. He will call you again the following day. He's like, oh, are you back? You're like, no, I'm not yet back. But please help me keep on pushing that poster. Keep on meeting people on my behalf, I'll meet you when I come back. Next thing you know, he calls there at 7 p.m. You go there at 1.
Imagine they land a trick.
No, the thing is,
They want to land a
by
trick.
the way, this political season, it is for a short while.
I know.
It is for a short while.
There's life
I know some
after
people be
it.
like, what are you going to do? Man, like, no, the thing is this, you have to play it smart. You play it smart. Because the other disadvantage that I've seen, that usually what the trick they play with girls, when this person realizes that you're playing this kind of tricks, what they do is that actually they decampaign you. So what you know,
I just love the way the way Honorable Fatuma just affirmed. Yes.
but this is the reality.
I love it.
This is the reality. But you have to really, really be smart with this. Like, you learn the game along the way. What you do, you just keep on, smiling, playing around, hugging, but do not allow to be in a man's private space. If you are not willing, if you're not in for it, do not allow, because things can just happen, and by the time you regain your senses back, you're like, oh my god,
Yeah, you lost it.
what just happened? Like, my god, Ngagaya he has eaten his that.
Finished it all.
And can I tell you something?
Carry on.
And some guys, they will do this to you, and my G, they won't even support you. They will disappear. And this will be the same people who go around telling people, I finished. Nakalia. Like Nalia. So to avoid all these things, have your values intact. Know your non-negotiables. Know that, okay, I remember when some guys approached me like, Jacqueline, this political space is so dangerous. Then I was single, I was not dating. And they told me, allow me to be... I prefer to keep my current status
No,
private.
It's okay. I love, it is Wallace who asked, so please, you can...
Okay, I was giving an example. And they approached me and told me, Jacqueline, this time is really dangerous. And everyone knows it, especially for ladies. Can I please be your political boyfriend? Just your political, you can manage political boyfriend.
In case of anything.
Just for appearances. But can I tell you what? Do not fall into that trick. They'll say your political boyfriend, and you guys will be holding out. That's a legal term for pretending, like you're pretending before the people. You're holding out to be a couple. When this guy does things to you, and then he's touching you, and then he's, grappling with you, and then he's doing all these kind of things, what will you say? Because people will be like, but I thought you guys are like,
You're together. You're
hey,
each.
so what are you claiming? Chances are high you consented.
That is interesting.
Yes. So to avoid all these kind of situations, have your values intact. Your non-negotiables already made up in your mind. My dear, you avoid a lot of things, and be smart. Women out there, be intelligent.
Be smart.
Be smart upstairs. Be
Because
intelligent. Don't open those
we
legs.
believe ladies are more smarter. So I don't know. I'm
you.
still trying to make that research and see, is it really the really thing as they say? But anyway, thank you so much, Honorable Jacqueline, for that insightful submission. I want to hear from Honorable Wallace. You of recent you've been hearing your name left, right, center, left, right, center. I'm like speaking on behalf of men or boys in Makerere University politics. Do you think this gender also falls a victim of the same situation from ladies?
Well, first to begin with, this is a very sensitive topic, and
because why I say it also brings back to the trauma.
Yes,
at the end of it all.
Yes.
Because after politics, you have gone through this, you have gone through that. At the end of it all, you have lost, you have done this, or maybe you have contracted the disease, you see.
So actually, in our first volume of the Makerere magazine, we had a section where we discussed this, and we got opinions from the different people. Maybe colleagues will check it out and see what people had to say. But from my end, first, yes, it can actually affect the male partner as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Personally, I haven't been approached before, by female counterparts asking for their support and they're giving their body, for instance, in exchange. Not really. But it's a two-way thing. Just like you can see domestic violence, it's a two-way thing, much as it is more on one side than the other. But like my colleague here said, it goes back to you as an individual. And
exactly
what you believe in, what your principles are, and how badly you need this. You know, some people will be like, it's okay, I can do anything to get this, and that is their personal decision. Much as personally I wouldn't advise one to make such a decision, but sometimes or oftentimes it's actually consensual. Sometimes it's consensual.
Agree.
Yes, sometimes it's consensual, and be like, it's okay. And some people, even some aspirants, they know that yo manyu ngendo mufunira. I say, so this person comes
pass this direction.
Nakwetega no kwetega ye mwenyini. You see this contest and once your support, you even not, that is not your motive. But this person, the way they come to you dressed, the way they talk to you, the way they give you tempting hugs, you're like,
I love that. I love the tempting hugs.
Yes.
I really feel
yes.
Personally,
So
I need to experience that.
I can actually confidently say this, that sometimes these females come to
when
trap
they are
us,
ready.
and then in the end, accuse us of leading them on. Yet they're the ones who led you on. And when things go the other way around, they start to that person used me, what, and you know how the public is very ready and willing to sympathize with the female gender, which is really okay, because they are vulnerable and they're delicate, and you need to protect them. I respect them, and we need to protect, but we also need to understand that sometimes these females actually come and use it as a tactic. I've seen it happening before. Whereby this person's manifesto and agenda is all about smiling and giving hugs. They're very good at that, and in politics you do whatever it takes for you to win. But at the end of the day, I think it should be about your personal values. You should say, me personally, I don't want anyone to use me because I'm desperate for this win.
Wow.
So much as the system, I speak to the university, the electoral commission. Much as they need to put measures to protect participants, I think the individuals themselves, on their personal level, also they need to be very, very much more involved and protective of their interests.
Okay, let me hear from you. The same thing. What do you have? Yes, please. Okay.
Just a small thing, sorry to interrupt.
It's okay, right.
Honorable Boris talked about consent, and
She's getting heated.
No. No, I just wanted to bring in a legal perspective of consent. Sometimes the way you get consent also matters. When I am in a corner because I need something from you, and I give you my consent, is that really consent because consent should be out of free will and undue influence? Like, I'm giving you my consent because I really want this, or not because on tade corner. I'm not talking about what you said of the tempting hugs or no, I'm talking about different consent of some girls may be tempted to be like, okay, yes, I'm giving in, but because I really need to go through, like, this really means so much to me. If I don't go through on bed day, if I don't go through, and they give that consent nenga ebyaddala abadde tayagala okitegedde because like more interest or about you've promised them something and then they consent. So it may not really be real free and willing
Jacqueline,
consent.
maybe let me ask you something.
Yes, please.
If it is consent, and in a consent, whether you want something or you don't want something, and you agree on doing a particular thing, if you're looking at Wallace's advances, like he's trying to use that your vulnerability to get you.
Yes,
why can't you? What if you told him like, why? I know this, I needed this, but I don't think this is the right thing.
Can I answer
it's
to
okay.
that? Yes. So that's where my initial submission of values comes in. However, many girls be like, okay, Chinonchetaga, I really need him on my team.
I just like it the way. Okay. Okay, it's not the wireless we have in the studio. We are meaning the other wireless in SETA.
You understand
I
that
get
out
you.
of that vulnerability, by the way, when you're in a vulnerable situation, many a times, because you're vulnerable, you need this thing. You may not easily say, okay, in Chirese, it depends how desperate you are for what Wallace is offering. Okay, what that person is offering. Yes.
Yeah,
So it may not be easy as why Togani, why didn't you just refuse? But well, I need this. He is now. You see how these mafias operate. Oh my God, they will come to
I
you.
love it when you have the mafias.
They will come to you and be like, if you don't have me on your team, you're not winning.
Oh. Anyway, thank you so much. Our time is not on the time is not on our right side. Let me hear from this side of my hand, Honorable, about the same situation of men having the same advices in less than 2 minutes.
No.
And also, you also give it with a summary of your last words as we be concluding our program.
Okay. Reality is, it is not only ladies. And for men, it is worse.
Wanjitata. Did I hear worse?
It is
Where
worse.
does the worst come from?
When I was still running for GRC in the 90s, I had this person I wanted to bring on my team. Of course, the person was a lady, very beautiful. We set an appointment to meet at her place in Chikon. So, I go. In most cases, political appointments are in the night. Yes, in most cases, yeah, political appointments are in the night. So, I go. I remember
At night. The brother is looking for votes.
I want to bring this person on team.
Board.
You know these people that are always very active
I
about you.
know.
Yeah? They're like, let me go and meet them. We talk through these things, and then we see how she comes fully on board.
Okay.
So I go. Now, unfortunately, electricity had gone
Mukama.
at their place. So I knock. The person opens, and they are using their phone to light, which was very okay.
All of us.
The person is dress code.
I'm trying to draw that kind of mental images.
Yes, and these are realities. So, the dress code. There are these kind of dresses that ladies always put on when they are preparing for bed, stuff like that. Yeah?
Honorable Fatuma and Jackie know them. It's okay. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah,
We don't know them, but it's interesting that you know them also.
Yes. I enter.
Me, I don't understand that.
I also
For you,
do
I
not
know you guys
the-
understand.
Okay,
this.
okay. I enter, and of course, there are a few things that you look at, and then your mind starts giving red lights.
Exactly, like
So-
something has to happen. Omuntu ali wasawa ya.
So
Eh?
no.
Moderator.
So we enter. I enter, and then we start talking through things. Now, one thing that I always do when I'm in a political talk, I always be very serious. I always try to be as professional as possible.
Wow.
So we start talking, strategies, what. I
need
request you to
this,
help
I
me
need
here,
that.
what. But the person's replies were very calm. There is a way someone talks to you and you feel like, yeah.
Yeah, nange, people. Politics is going to kill me terribly.
Remember, the room is dark and we are just
Yeah, two people.
for nights. Two people. Actually, they were staying two, but I don't know where the roommate had gone. So time reaches and it is time to say bye-bye. Now, you know how people say bye-bye.
We don't
How do
know.
people say bye-bye?
Huh? That's a good one.
Of course, it is hugs, yeah. But it is normal at campus. People give hugs and people receive hugs. So,
Yes, if you're summarizing, our time is
so,
almost up.
you know, I said bye and then, you know, she
Gave her
was the
hug.
one to open the door. So after she was like, oh, Zef, I'm going to come on board. We are going to work.
Thank you so much, brother. I wouldn't allow to go there. Thank you so
But-
much. Uh-huh.
But no.
What is the bad?
No, things happened. So the person gave me a hug.
Yeah.
You know, the moment a hug goes past 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3
Something
minutes.
different.
Now, glory be to God, electricity came back.
Amina, glory
And
to
then,
God.
But anyway, one thing that I request colleagues is try to be as professional as possible. There is a way professionalism switches people off. Even if someone wanted to go extreme, the moment you appear professional, they will be switched off. Then for the trauma stuff, you do not drown in water by falling in it, but you drown in water by staying in it. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you so much, Honorable, for that beautiful submission. I really love the story aspect of it. But still, tugenderao. Your final words in less than a minute, Fatuma, as we are heading the show.
Thank you so much, moderator, the listeners of Infinity Radio, and my colleagues. My final words would be mostly to girls. As a girl, if you're going into the political space, you should set standards for yourself. You should value yourself, know where to be at the right time, know what to say, and you as a person, you should know what you really want, and most importantly, respect your body.
Wow. Okay, thank you so much, Honorable Fatuma, for that beautiful concluding part of the show. Let me hear from Honorable Wallace. Your last words in less than a minute.
I will first begin by appreciating Mr. Short Legend. Thank you so much for this topic in particular. It's really very, very pertinent to have this discussion. But also, I want to speak to our listeners out there. There's a saying that when you're afraid of nightmares, you still go to sleep. Like you can't avoid sleep because
You have
they are nightmares. They just come once in a while. Why do I bring that is you can't avoid politics because there is post-election trauma.
I know.
Like I earlier stated, the best school is exposure. Participating in this space, in this political space, especially in such a prestigious institution like Makerere University, will give you a very, very good platform, a very good exposure, regardless of the results of the election. So I want to encourage young leaders out there to participate in these exercises. They are really good. But as you go in, be prepared for anything.
Expect anything.
Prepare your mind
It's
for
a
anything.
political field.
That's the best defense mechanism you could have. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Honorable Wallace, for that last parting kind of a statement. It's actually a very, very nice one. I love the saying. Can I hear from Honorable Jacqueline? Your last words for the listener.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you so much to our dear listeners, the moderator and the CEO Infinity Radio for the opportunity. My last parting words: when a cup is full, a filled cup, it cannot be filled anymore. It will overflow. So if your heart, or if you are filled with, the trauma, the depression, the stress, the anxiety after the elections, when things do not go well, the only way to embrace new opportunities and greater heights is when you when you take out what is filling you at the moment. When your eyes are closed, you cannot look at the new areas. You cannot look at the new opportunities. I failed my first race, that is for EC Law School. However, I healed and then re-strategized. That's how I came back for CGC became information secretary, became GRC, then became minister. And that is how I have been successful at students' politics at campus. So empty that cup and then refill, allow yourself heal and grow into greater heights that you couldn't even imagine prior. So keep going, do not give up, don't let one step put you down for good. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Honorable Jacqueline, and each and everyone who has made it right here. We appreciate and thank you so much. More gratitude and round of applause to all of you, dear guests who have been positioned to discuss with me this topic of discussion this afternoon. It has been very engaging. You've been so much informed. I loved the sayings. I told you, dear listeners, outside that I really brought for you a group of intellectuals. I should have had or learned one or two things in this kind of a conversation as far as political issues are concerned, because people go through a lot, and we've been to the audience outside, then you've been a very good audience, and thank you so much for listening to Infinity Radio. Always keep in touch. Do not touch your dial. We've gotten a lot of programs for you. You've been Raise UG. Now it's time to sign out here, and of course we have gotten other programs that will be coming along the way in a shorter while. So thank you so much for following. To the Muslim fraternity, thank you so much for fasting. We pray that the Almighty Allah keeps you stronger until the last day. Then for the Catholics, I know you're so in your Lenten period. God with you and everything. Then to our brothers and sisters in Kalangala, I know this morning those people were hit by some bit of rain, and some people lost lives. We stand with you, and we pray that Almighty God grants those ones who have lost their lives and the families comfort and a restful stay. And then for the sick, please, we love you so much. I remain Raise UG for the talk show here in Infinity Radio. Bye.
You're listening to the talk show on Infinity Radio.